Hello again, and today we are going to make a quick video learning about MIDI input and output from Reascripts. Some of these functions are quite new. They came at the end of the version 6, just to like 6.80. I don't remember, but was something like this. So okay, let's start trying to receive some MIDI information inside your script. So here I have a blank script. I will put a print function that we already know about. I will also need my unpack MIDI function. If you don't know what this function is, go look at the MIDI advanced video, because we are going to need to unpack MIDI strings to their values. So we need to get each byte of the string and convert, for example, to the MIDI type, the channel, and all the data bytes from the MIDI. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go check out at the start of the MIDI advanced video, where I talk about what are MIDI and their parameters as strings. Okay, so the function that we are going to use to get MIDI inside your script is this one: MIDI underline get recent input event. Okay, and we'll need a bigger screen for VS Code here. Okay, so this MIDI get recent input event needs an index. So if you put the number 0 at it, you are going to get the most recent MIDI event. If you put the number 1, is the next most recent, 2, the next most recent. Okay, so what you're gonna need in a defer loop is to go checking the recent input event and try to get all MIDI that happened between your defer loops. Okay, and to know if you are getting the same MIDI events from the last defer or not, you are going to use the first value, the retval. So this will return 0 if you are putting an index that surpass the buffer size, like a really big number here, that goes around all of the buffer messages and didn't catch anything. It will return 0, so no MIDI message. But if it's a valid MIDI message that it got, it would return a number to it, which is non-zero. Like normally is a really big number, and for each new message, the number will go one number higher. So it's 9, now 0, and then the next mid message would be 91, 92, 93, 94, etc. So these numbers go rising and rising. And you use this number to compare the MIDI messages if you are checking the MIDI messages from the last defer loop. So at each defer loop, you save the last message that you read, and you save the number of it. And then in the next loop, you go checking from 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. until you have the same retval. Okay. I already have a function to this, which is much simpler than remaking everything. So we have our unpack here. We'll put everything here. Okay, so just before we go look how to use the get recent input event to get all MIDI between defer loops, let's just explore each return value. For this, I made this small script, which is a really basic user interface, so we can check each value. So I will run this. I will put the code on the description, of course. So just this small window here using AmGUI, where we have the retval value, the message, and the type, channel, data. Here I unpacked the message, which we use the unpack MIDI message function to it. And as you can see, it's just getting the recent thing and then putting in a ambiguity text. Red val, it's the red val. And message, the message. Here, unpacked mid message is just putting the values after unpacking it. And so let's send some mid messages for Reaper and see how it changes. So first I will send some note, like this C note, and it as a note it is being held for 2 seconds and then sending a note off. So let's send another note. As you can see, it's type 9, so is note on. And here you can see which note is a 48, and after 2 seconds it is sending another message with velocity 0 to send a note off. So note on, then note off. As you can see here, the TS value that returns at the get recent input event is how many samples many samples ago it happened. So as you can use this to calculate how many seconds ago the message got in. Let me send some CC. So here, as you can see, as I put the value up, the data tree, the data byte tree increases or decreases. And you can see here the data byte 2 is which control I am sending. So it's to the first one. I can change here, for example, to the second one, to the 7, which would be volume normally. Here I have the channel I am sending to, and type 11 is for control channel, for control change. Here is the message as a string. So here is the time, and the next thing is which device is sending to this. You can see which device going here on the Reaper settings. 0 is my 2 Reaper device. You can also, if you want to look at the name using code, you can go to your famous website. Where is the famous website? And here you will look for MIDI output name or MIDI input name, and you can use these functions to get the name of each input, and using this and the value that you are getting, you can put the name of the input. Actually, we can do this right now. Let's just try here. Here is receiving the device index, so let's create another text device and say device name is Reaper dot get MIDI input name. This would be needed on another line because it returned a red val. And device index, name out, I think we don't need to feed anything. And let's try to run this. Here, so you can see it's coming from 2 Reaper. If I send from my keyboard, you can see that it's changing the name, which is the device 8 from my Oxygen keyboard. If I change something here, it's changed the device name. And project position, which is the 5th return value, is where on the project the message was sent. If it's less 1, it means the project was on stop state. But if I play here, let me turn off the metronome, and I press something like change some CC, it says where on the project it was, it get it. So you can use this to write information on your project. And the project loop count is a little more complicated. I won't delve much deeper, but you can use this to get, if your project is looping, which loop in which loop it happened, because it could have, if you just need to do something with loops, you're gonna use this, okay? But I won't delve much deeper. You can try it yourself and use this script to try. For example, if I pause and play, you can see these numbers go rising and rising. So you can differentiate from which playthrough the MIDI got in. And if I put this on in a loop and send messages, you can see the numbers go rising and rising. Okay, so this is what you need if you need to differentiate from playthrough to playthrough. Okay, so this is basically this small script to get the, and the problem with this script is not a problem, but the design is that it's getting just the most recent input event, it's the last one. But we normally don't want to get just the last input. We want to get all the MIDI between two defer loops, right? So for this, I wrote a small function. Let me get it. Okay, let me paste here. Okay, so this won't open any window, but I think it will print the events. Let's read it. So print, we know. Unpack MIDI message, we know. So here, get MIDI input. So this is the function that will get every MIDI between loops. Let's just see how it's being used. Here I have the loop function that we are going to run around and around. You can see here by the defers. So it basically uses as this MIDI input equal get MIDI input, and this should return a table. So if the table is bigger than 0, we are going to clear the console and we are going to go in a loop. We could put this loop inside here too, but it kind of don't matter much. And we are going to go in a loop for each value inside the MIDI input, and each value that it returns here is a message table which will contain all the values that return at the MIDI get recent input event. So the red val, we are going to have here the message that we had it returned here, the message, the time of the how long ago the MIDI message happened, so the time in samples, the device, the project time, the project loop. So everything that you got out of get recent input event is inside this table, inside the message table, which is inside the MIDI input. So you can think of MIDI input. Let me just write this so we are on the same page, as a table which will have an integer, 1, 2, etc. Each number is for one message that got between defer loops, and and each value is another table. And here you have the names of the return values, for example, red val, then TS, message, etc. So this is the structure of the MIDI input. Okay, so it's quite easy to use this. You just get the value from this message table, so it will print here. So this function here is just printing everything that got between defer loops. So it will go through all the MIDI inputs for each message. It will put the red val, the message, then we'll unpack the message and put the type, the channel, the values, the data types, the time in samples that it got, how long ago, the device, the project time, the project loop. So okay, let's run this. And now if I send some message, you can see it got 2 messages, because after 2 seconds this small patch is sending a note off. Let me send a CC here. Okay, so you can see it's here the red val number, the mid message as a string, The MIDI type is 11, so control change. MIDI channel 1, value 7, control channel 7, so control change 7, and the value 73. It happened at 604 samples ago. The device was 0, which is from this virtual MIDI channel. Project time +1 because it was stopped, but if I play here and I send some things, you can see we got the time position and the project loop playthrough because it's looping here. Let me unloop this. And the cool thing about using this in with this function is that it got every message between different loops. So here it got many. So here you can see 1 here, red vol, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's really great, for example, if you are changing 2 knobs or 2 sliders or more sliders at the same time. You need to get all values together and not just the last value that got inside Reaper. Or for example, if you are playing chords, here, for example, this chord, you see there is many notes on at the same time, and you need to maybe map every note and not just the last note that got into Reaper. So this is a really good function to have. Let's just read a little about it. So let's get into this get MIDI input, see how it works. So it has optional argument. Okay, so get MIDI input has an optional value to get the last red vol. Okay, so this is optional. If you don't feed it, it will create a hidden value called where is it? MIDI last red vol hidden. This is a global value which is hidden. Just not hidden, but which are quite strange name that won't be a problem in a global state. But if you don't like this, you can put the last red vol yourself and manage it yourself. But if you don't mind, you can put nothing and it will cover it for you. But it's really a demand to store the red vol of the last message at each different loop, because here what this function do, if you ignore here the first part and go here to this while loop, it's go through all the message in the buffer using the get recent input event until the the red vol returns 0, and by that is there is no more mid message to be read, or the red vol is equal to the last red vol that we got. Okay, so this is really important to not read again the same message at 2 loops. So you need to always save the last red vol. Okay, so you can feed yourself the last red vol and get it should return together with the MIDI table the last red vol, so you get from the second return value here. But you can ignore, just like I ignored here, and this function will manage this for you, saving the last red vol at this variable mid last red vol hidden, and feed it herself. Okay, so basically what this function is doing is while loop, going to each index at the get recent input and breaking at some point, and until it is breaking, it is feeding this MIDI table, which is created here, feeding it, creating it with more tables inside, which with each return value from this. So basically put everything on a table as you normally do in Lua. So this is how I at least use the MIDI get recent input event to get everything between each loop. I will put this code also on the description if you want to use it, modify it, do whatever you want. And now let's see how to send MIDI from Reaper. MIDI from Reaper, it is a little more easy than receiving, or at least more straightforward. Here, really basic print function. Another function that we already saw on the MIDI Advanced to pack the message, because we are going to have all of the MIDI values that we want to send, which type of MIDI it is, which channel, which note or which control change, or which value of it or velocity, etc, etc. And we need to pack everything as a string, okay? Because we are going to use the send MIDI message to hardware. So you can look at the MIDI Advanced to know more how to pack a MIDI message, or you can just read how this works, how to pack a MIDI message. But it's really easy. You just say pack MIDI message, and you pack, for example, here type 11 is control change, 1 is channel 1, 7 is control change 7, which is volume, and here is sending a random value for it for the data type 2, which is a random value from 0 to 127, and here returns a message, and then just send MIDI message to hardware 12 and message. So this 12 is which hardware to send to, and the message is the message that we just made it. So let me see which hardware I'm sending to. So I want, so there is 12, 12 is from Reaper, okay, it's the channel that I want. So I'm gonna go here on Max MSP and just create here a settings to receive something to receive control change, and I'll put a slider here, and I will say receive it from Reaper. And now if I run this script, okay, and now if I run this script, you can see it is changing there. Oops. So it's sending control change 7, channel 1, and you can see it's always a random value. I can put something like 0 instead. You can see it's gonna go to the lowest value on the slider, and 127, so gonna go to the highest point. Okay, so this is how you send MIDI message from Reaper. Okay, so this will this is a really quick video about MIDI input and output, and the next video we are going to talk about OSC input and output from scripts.